We're going to be talking about Russell Brand and the allegations made against him, and also one of the latest articles from Sky News. 2 from Sky News to be more specific, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here, and we're talking about the allegations against Russell Brand, and we're also going to look at one of the latest stories that have come from the allegations against him. Russell Brand, what are the allegations against him? 4 women told the Sunday Times and Channel 4's Dispatch that Brand assaulted them between 2006 and 2013. Guys, it's a difficult subject to talk about, because obviously I have covered Dan Wootton and the allegations against him, and obviously in that regard Dan Wootton is not as big a celebrity as Russell Brand, and Russell Brand has a very big following, and there are many who claim that his followers and a lot of people are vigorously behind him on this. And I think it's important to say that the allegations, because they are allegations, the women need to be allowed to speak before anything, rather than simply just taking the word of Russell Brand or taking the word of the women. I think both sides need to be allowed to be able to speak on the matter. We're going to read into it, and I'll keep sharing my thoughts as we go along, and my opinion and thoughts will probably change as we go along anyway, guys. The Sunday Times and Channel 4 Dispatches published their joint investigation on Saturday, accusing Russell Brand of rape, sexual assault and abuse. 4 women alleged Brand assaulted them between 2006 and 2013. This period marks the height of Brand's fame, when he was presenter for the BBC and Channel 4 before becoming a high-profile Hollywood star. The comedian vehemently denied very serious criminal allegations in a YouTube video on Friday night, claiming his relationship was always consensual. Here are the allegations against him in full. So we're just going to be warning that the details of the graphic nature of readers may find distressing, so I'm just warning you ahead of time. Grooming and sexually assaulting a 16-year-old. Alice, not her real name, alleged she had a sexual relationship with Brand at the age just 16 that he sexually assaulted her. Brand, who was 30 at the time, sent cars to Alice's school to collect her from lessons so that he could have sex with her at his home, she said. He became increasingly controlling during the relationship, Alice said, and encouraged her to lie to family and friends about the relationship, even instructing her to save his number under the name Carly to avoid suspicion. She says Brand's management also told him to keep their relationship private. She also alleged that he removed a condom during sex without her knowledge. Russell's engaged in a behaviour of groomers looking back, but I didn't know what that was then, or what that looked like, she said. While in bed with Brand, Alice said the comedian forced his penis into her mouth to the point where she was unable to breathe. I was pushing him away and he wasn't backing off, she said. I ended up having to punch him really hard in the stomach to get him off. I was crying and I said, I only wanted to see your mascara run away. After this, he held her mouth open, drawled into it, and then held her mouth shut, forced her to swallow his spit and leaving her gagging and crying. Alice also told the investigation that Brand found it arousing that she was a virgin, called her the child or my little dolly, and asked her to read the 1955 novel Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov about professor sexually obsessed with pure pubescent girls. Raping a businesswoman in LA. Nadia, who did not use her real name to protect her identity, said Brand raped her at her home in LA in 2012. They previously had consensual sex, but Nadia said she had a gaze over look during the encounter. In the early hours of the 1st of July 2012, Brand pleased her with visits to his house. When she got there, he asked her to join him and a friend for a threesome in his bedroom, she alleges. When she refused, Nadia said Brand pushed her against the wall and raped her without using a condom. After escaping his house, she said Brand sent a text at 3:29 a.m. which said, "I'm sorry, that was crazy and selfish. Hope you can forgive me. I know that you're a lovely person." She said she ignored a call from him but texted him the following morning saying that he had scared the S out of her, adding, "When a girl says no, it means no." Brand replied he was very sorry and embarrassed by his behaviour, the Times reported. Nadia provided the team of journalists with her medical records from a rape treatment centre she went to after the rape, as well as therapy records. Several months later, she wrote to Brand saying, "You completely broke me down." Brand fired women who worked for him after sex assault. Philly Philo, who was not her real name, had a brief consensual relationship with Brand after they met at the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in 2013, she said. He later hired her for a project they worked on together. During this time, Philip said she became trapped in the bedroom in Brand's home and he started chasing her around the room. Brand, who was naked, grabbed me and got me on the bed and tried to forcibly remove her clothes. She said, "I was screaming. I was like, 'What are you doing? Stop. Please, you're my friend. I love you. Please don't do this. I don't want to do this.' I think he had his hands down my trousers, but I was fighting so hard. I was screaming so hard, hoping that I could get through somehow." When the assault ended, Fields said Brand became super angry and shouted "F you" and told her she was fired. She ran out of his house barefooted, running into a group of people outside who arrived for a business meeting, Phillips said. One of the people in the group apologised to her years later, she claimed. She said, "He pulled me aside and said to me, 'I have never forgiven myself for not running in that house to save you. I heard you screaming. I didn't know what to do. We were all scared of him and I didn't do anything and I am sorry.'" She continued to working with Brand, but she said he cornered her and threatened legal action when he discovered she had told friends about the alleged assault. Sexually assaulted girlfriend. Brand's former girlfriend Jordan Martin did not provide an account to the journalist working on the investigation due to personal family circumstances, but confirmed to the team that she stood by allegations she made a self-published book. The former model had a 6-month relationship with Brand in 2007. In her book, she detailed an alleged sexual assault at the Lowy Hotel in Manchester between Dinah and Rodel Grand, pseudonyms she used for herself and Brand. Mrs. Martin said the chameleon became angry when he found out she had spoken to an ex-boyfriend. He then grabbed her phone and assaulted her in the bathroom, sliding his hand into her underwear, she claimed. She said she was not ready for this intrusion and did not find it sensual or pleasant. Brand also forced her to brush her teeth so hard that it made her gums bleed, so she would taste anonymous to him, Mrs. Martin said. She wrote to Brand, pushing boundaries, controlling other people to fulfill perseverance for the sake of dominance. "There were times I felt bullied and abused, not in a physical or sexual way, but mentally. I was vulnerable. His manipulative side was so powerful it's easy to just submit." Brand has never disputed Mrs. Martin's accounts in her book. Sexual assault in central London. The Met Police confirmed on Monday the 18th of September that it had received a report of an alleged sexual assault in the Soho district of central London dating back to 2003. The force says officers who were contacted following reporting by the Sunday Times and Channel 4 dispatches about allegations of sexual offences. Spokesperson said it was informed of the claim on Sunday the 17th of September and that officers are in contact with a woman and will be provided her with support. The Met did not go any further into details, but added in a statement, "We continue to encourage anyone who believes they may have been a victim of sexual offence, no matter how long ago it was, to contact us." Offered naked assistance to Jimmy Savile. Dispatches and the Sunday Times also detailed other disturbing behaviour in the documentary, including inappropriate comments made to philanthropy Jimmy Savile. On his radio show in 2007, Brand spoke with Savile, who said they could meet if Brand brought his sister. The comedian said he didn't have a sister, but offered to bring his naked assistant to the meeting. "I've got a personal assistant, and part of her job description is that anything I demand she greets, meets and massages. She has to do it. She's very attractive, Jimmy," Brand has just said. Saville died in 2011, aged 84. More than 450 allegations of sexual abuse against children were reported to the police after his death. Flashing junior staff. Brand's personal assistant between 2006 and 2007 also allegedly showed friends intimate pictures of women. Brand had also instructed the assistant Helen Berger to procure women for him to have sex with from audiences he showed on shows he presented. She claimed. She also said Brand had often wore only underwear around her and had a very active sex addiction. Meanwhile, producer running on Big Brother's E-Forum said Brand flashed her on set and insinuated that she might like to suck his thing. She added, "I was incredibly shocked. I wasn't going to tell anyone what he had done because I didn't want to lose my job." She later had consensual sex with him but insisted she had to keep it a secret. "As an older woman, I can say with clarity I feel I was groomed for sex," the runner said. Production companies enabled him to exist in environments where he was able to take advantage of who he was. Another crew member said she raised a separate complaint with his colleague about Brand's sexual pursuit of audience members on his shows. The crew member said women often phoned her in tears because they felt used. "I don't know what went on once they left the studio," they added. She said she felt like a pimp to Russell Brand's needs and that they were taking lambs to slaughter. Brand denies allegations absolutely. Denying the allegations in a video posted online ahead of the publication of the claims, Brand said he was facing a litany of extreme, egregious and aggressive attacks. The 48-year-old said, "These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream and when I was in the newspapers all the time. When I was in the movies I had written about extensively in my books, I was very, very prominent. Now, during that time of prominence, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I had always transparent about them, almost too transparent, and I'm being transparent about it now as well. To see transparency, misogyny into something criminal that I absolutely denied makes me question, is there another agenda at play?" Television production and distribution groups Baljet, the French multinational which acquired the company that made Big Brother in the 2000s, released a statement which it later amended. In a second statement it said, "In light of the very serious allegations raised by dispatches at the Sunday Times investigation related to the alleged serious conduct of Russell Brand while presenting shows produced in Imola in 2004 and 2005, Baljet UK has launched an urgent internal investigation and will cooperate with any requests for information from broadcast partners and external agencies. We also encourage anybody who feels that they were affected by Brand's behaviour while working on these productions to contact us in confidence." Channel 4, which aired Big Brother, has said in the years since the allegations took place that there have been extensive change at the channel. The channel now has a zero-tolerance approach to unacceptable behaviour and has a robust code of conduct, it says. So those are the allegations in detail. We're going to read this and then I'm going to give my thoughts, guys. So this is the latest story. Russell Brand. So Rumble calls MP's letter over advertising revenue disturbing and dangerous. So Russell, he is no longer receiving revenue from YouTube anymore. So he used to get money from advertisements on it, but he's no longer getting revenue from YouTube now. But he also has an account with Rumble, which is they call it a right-wing social media brand, and I do have Rumble as well, but it doesn't have any followers or anything like that. But Russell Brand has 1.42 million followers on Rumble, the fifth most of anyone in the platform, and averages just under 2,800 views per video according to the platform's latest statistics. So Rumble has refused to follow in YouTube's steps and demonetise Russell Brand after claims of sexual abuse were made against him. The free speech video platform said it was deeply inappropriate and dangerous for Dame Caroline Dinenage, chair of the House of Commons Media Committee, to ask if it would stop Brand earning advertisement revenue on Rumble. The 48-year-old comedian who found fame in stand-up comedy and on traditional TV is thought to have made most of his money in recent years through uploading videos on Rumble and YouTube. Brand has been barred from making money on YouTube after 4 women made the allegations of rape and sexual assault. Allegations which he denied. But his Rumble account, which has 1.42 million followers, fifth most of anyone on the platform, will remain monotonized. In a statement, in the letter, Rumble said the letter was extremely disturbing, adding, "While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape, and all serious crimes, and believes that both alleged victims and the accusers are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with the content on Rumble's platform. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or to earn a living from doing so. Singling out an individual or demanding his ban is even more disturbing given his absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. Although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so will be a violation of our company's values and mission. We emphatically reject the UK's Parliament's demands." What the extremely disturbed letter said. So, in a letter to Rumble's founder and chief executive, Chris Poskowski, Dame Diana wrote, "While we recognise that Rumble is not the centre of the contents published by Mr. Brand, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from the content on his platform. We'd be grateful if you can confirm Mr. Brand is able to, if you are able to monetize his content, including his videos relating to serious allegations against him. If so, we would like to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. We would also like to know what Rumble is doing to ensure that creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims of inappropriate and potentially illegal behaviour. Rumble's free speech policy has made it popular among controversial commentators such as Andrew Tate, who claims he has a $9 million and $7.3 million deal with the platform. The 4 women alleged assault between 2006 and 2013. The comedian vehemently denies very serious criminal allegations in a YouTube video on September the 15th. Yeah, so we've read the... so pretty much... just before I talk about Russell Brand there, I'm just going to say while I do have an account with Rumble, I only use it just to add the same videos that I have on YouTube. So if you do want to follow me on Rumble and you have an account, you're more than welcome to, but you'll find all my content mainly here, guys. What do I, first of all, before I talk about Russell Brand, what do I think of Rumble and its decision not to follow YouTube in its suit? Well, because of the kind of platform that it is, and it's vigorous in its free speech sort of tone, that does not surprise me, considering the kinds of voices that they have on the platform. And the thing is that it is dangerous. It is dangerous to have to have absolute free speech, as I like to put it, and some of the things that they can say on there is quite dangerous and can be very influential on young people. And at the end of the day, Rumble's not going to take down one of its they're not the biggest social media company in the world, but they're not going to take down someone who has a huge mass following on their channel. And it's the same with the likes of Andrew Tate. They're just not going to follow suit. Rumble really came to prominence with the likes of them. So I do think it's wrong that they're allowed to still speak. I think. So what do I think of Russell Brand? So I think he, like Dan Wootton, should stay off social media and stay off content until these allegations have been proven to be nothing but allegations or lies or the truth. And investigations are taking place and accountability or no accountability takes place. I think it's dangerous and I think it's wrong for people who allegedly may or may not have these to may have allegedly had these actions, of doing these actions, I think it's wrong that they are still allowed to be in the public limelight. I think they should be taken away from being able to kind of kick and scream and shout with these allegations. The sensible thing is to either prove that you're innocent or keep quiet, because you're not helping anyone with this. I am, if the allegations are true for all these women, and again, we don't know the identities of the women, so it's important to stress that when they're just trying to protect them, because the problem is that Russell Brand has such a massive following. You know, they will issue death threats, they'll try and target these women, they will do anything to silence these women. And again, it is all allegations, but they have to hide their identities to protect them. And it's, if this has been going on for such a long time, and the question then you ask is, it's like, well, how has this been allowed to go on for so long, and why has nothing been done about it? Well, the reason why is because women have been too scared to come out, because they're too powerful. One voice is not enough. And the other thing is that the likes of Channel 4 and the likes of these media outlets that he's worked under, and again, this is all allegations on him, if they knew about these, why did they allow them to happen? See, the blame must be just as much on them as well as Russell, if these stories are to be true, because they allowed it, they knew about it, and they did nothing about it, and lives have been ruined as a result of it, again, if these allegations are to be true. So they should stay off. So the likes of Russell Brand and Dan Wootton should either prove that they are innocent, or stay off social media, stay off media until otherwise, because you're not helping anyone or anybody, and you're only making things worse. But what do you guys think of Russell Brand? What do you think of Dan Wootton? Why, if these allegations are proven to be true, why has it taken so long? Why did these companies allow him to get away with it? Why did they allow this man to do the things that he did? Why were people that scared of his influence and that? What could something more have been done to prevent this, if these allegations are true? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will keep an eye on the story as it progresses, but as well as Dan Wootton. But yeah, these stories are pretty horrible to read, but they're important to know as well. So, like, share and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I have better stories to cover than this one.